This is the identity shift that made reality feel effortless. Okay? And there's just two equations. But first, I have spent a lot of time learning about yoga, spending time in cold temperatures, silent retreats, yoga courses, challenges, lectures, to absolutely shift my life from mental health illness called psychosis to living my dream life, dancing for the Detroit Pistons, and moving to San Diego, my dream city. I've also helped others do the same transformation. You can zoom in to see the kind of transformations I delivered. Let's get right into it. All I'm going to go through is the first equation, the second equation, the combinations that we can get from the equations, and how you can transform from who you are right now to who you want to be, right? Because you deserve to be limitless and effortless, bro. So let's get started right away. That was like the fastest intro I've ever done. So hopefully you like that. So equation one, all right? What is equation one? This dawned on me very recently, but I was like living in this equation for like the longest time, which is a victim, bro. A victim that's sad, that's always complaining, criticizing, and condemning myself. This is the equation, right? Criticizing, condemning, and complaining. I got that from the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Those three things make a person very negative. All right? Think of all the negative shit that you've ever said about yourself, the beliefs. I'm gonna write the three C's again: criticize, condemn, complain. Being pessimistic about life. Let's say victimizing yourself. Right? These are all negative things. Let's say even bullying, right? If you bully others, even unconsciously, like your closest friends, it's pretty negative, right? The second part of that equation is separated, right? This is what creates a bad identity. Okay? What do I mean by separated? It means you think you're an individual. Okay? It thinks you think you're separated from everything and everybody else. You're only looking out for yourself, which creates a very high ego, right? A high separation. What else do you think you're separated from, right? Your teamwork is shit. All right, the person's teamwork is really bad. Not saying you, but a person who has bad identity. Let's say they also are narcissistic. Whatever. You know what I mean. I'm not gonna get that spelling right. And let's say only think about themselves, right? Nobody else, right? Only they take things very personally, right? Even if you make a joke about them, right? They get immediately offended, right? Because they're trying to defend their sense of separation and individuality. This is what creates a really bad identity. I'm sure you have somebody in your life, right? It could even be you. And this was me when I had a lot of mental health issues, right? I would constantly worry about my outcomes, all right? Me. The sense of me and I is very loud for people who fall into this equation, okay? Now, let's move on to the second equation. And usually that first equation is victim mindset, because people who are separated and negative, they are just expecting the worst to happen to them. They're not taking any responsibility. They have their guard up all the time, and they're like, oh, I need to protect myself because if I don't, I'm gonna die. Like, that's just so negative, right? I'm gonna fail. But here's the life-changing equation that dawned on me like 2 days ago. Now, This one is a person, it's just literally just the opposite of the first equation, if you haven't guessed. It's being positive multiplied by the sense of unity, which equals good identity. Okay? Now, when I mean positive, it's like you're optimistic. Okay? You praise yourself and others. You give a lot. You don't ask for attention. You don't take attention. You give energy. You see the cup as half full rather than half empty, right? This is the definition of, positivity. You can describe a cup that's 50% of water as half empty or half full. Full is more positive. You believe in yourself, right? You have positive beliefs, right? You don't allow society to push its negative agenda on you, right? And most importantly, bro, you're coming from love. The people who are really attractive and have a good identity, they have love for themselves and the world. And what do I mean by unity, right? You see through the illusion of separation and realize that everything is one. You realize that everything is whole. Nothing is truly separate. Everything is truly connected, right? And you are the universe, right? They put the universal energy very close to themselves. And I'm learning this, right? I'm not perfect. I had this unconscious sense of being separated, but then I realized, wait a second, bro. Other people are me, right? They're very people oriented because they realize that other people are them. If I help another person, I'm actually helping myself. If I cheer on another person, I'm cheering on myself. So this is what I mean by unity, right? High teamwork. High teamwork and ability to collab. So when I really started to step into this, and by the way, if this multiplies, your aura literally skyrockets, okay? Because it just makes everything so easy and effortless. You don't have to defend, right? You don't have to defend or attack, like none of this shit, right? It's just constantly radiating a vibe, right? People can feel good energy and bad energy, right? Of love and giving, right? Another quality is you constantly give. And why do you constantly give? Is because you know that you are abundant. Abundant, right? My Guru Pashupati, you can look him up online. One question he said that really started ringing in my mind and I started observing, which really made me at ease, is asking, why is nature so abundant and why am I not? Nature has all the resources we've ever needed to create civilization. It's constantly changing and it has so much, right? Just the freaking mountains, it's just so enormous. Why is nature like that and why do I feel so limited, right? And as I really started to understand, like, holy crap, nature is just connected. There is barely any separation. The mountains turns into valleys, which turns into roads, which turns into sand, which turns into the beach, which turns into the oceans. It's all connected and unified. And any amount of separation that I have within myself is going to lead into a bad identity, right? Now, bad identities give off negative aura, and good identities give off positive aura, right? You know how people say, we can't really change the world, right? We can't really control the world. We can't control results. But what we can control is our outlook on life in terms of our statements and beliefs and our ability of unification. Look at that, even the birds are chirping to this concept. And so, why did I bring up reality? Is because when your aura is good, you're literally sending out good signals, right? When you send out good signals, That's when the universe starts giving. When I finally started to realize, like, holy shit, there is no separation. I am everybody and everything. Let me treat everybody and everything with love, because that's the most sustainable thing I can do. That's when my mental health started becoming better. What is mental health? Is when the mind starts quieting down and love starts becoming louder. And once that starts happening, and when it happened, I was able to make better decisions. When I was able to make better decisions, the world responded accordingly by giving me better results. And it really just starts with this equation, right? Now, here's a couple of combinations for this equation that's kind of fun, right? Because, not everybody is just positive and separated, or negative and separated, or just positive and unified, right? There's different combinations, right? So what are those different combinations? We have negative times separated. We have negative times unified. We have positive times separated, and positive times unified. Okay, so what are all these combinations we have? It's really interesting because this is the perfect formula for almost every character you see in real life or in, movies, TV shows, anime, right? So let's go for this one first. I'm going to do it right here. So when we have negative and separated, bro, these people are victims. These people constantly do the 3 C's. They think everyone is against them, right? Negative versus unified is like, okay, the person is negative, so maybe not, they're not necessarily like, here, let's think about this one. Negative and unified. How can a person have negative emotions and negative beliefs but still be unified, right? I truly think this is pessimism at the peak, right? Because they know that, the world is connected. They know that, humanity, people are all collective, but they just have a bad belief system about the outcomes. They think the world is going to shit. It's more like doom, right? They're constantly in doom. They're gloomy. At least this person is like, they're negative about themselves, but at least they're looking out for themselves, right? Even though, and they think, like, this is nihilism. There we go, right? The world, I get the world is connected, but like, what's the point, right? What's the point? This literally is what leads to, like, offing yourself, because they know that the truth of reality is like nothing really matters, like nothing matters at all. But instead of realizing that if nothing matters, then I can make anything of life, right? Then it's the meaning that I give, that's the purpose of life. Instead of coming to that conclusion, they realize, like, damn, nothing matters. I guess I might just right? And so let's take a person that's positive and separated, right? Now these people are ones with high egos, right? Successful, right? Businessmen. Let's say athletes, right? Single player athletes like tennis, right? They're constantly positive about themselves, and they don't even need teamwork, right? Because it's single player tennis. And so these guys don't necessarily have any kind of ill will against society, but they do have a feeling of like me versus the world, which in a weird way also helps the world because they set the example what it means to be successful, right? Think like LeBron, think Kobe, think Elon Musk, think Bezos, right? These guys have such high egos, and I don't know who am I to say that they might not feel they might not have that unified feeling. Sorry for that typo. And then, oh, also when I have what I really wanted to give an example. Actually, no, I'm gonna give this example later. Just hold on to it, right? For this one, this one's a fun example. Positive and unified is freaking God, bro. It's freaking Sadhguru. It's freaking Midoriya from My Hero Academia. It's freaking Luffy from One Piece. It's MLK, bro, Martin Luther King Jr. Because he knew that we're all connected, we're all one, and he was positive about it, and he's positive about himself, and he wanted to unify everybody, right? So these are like the character types, and they are loving themselves plus others, which increases community vibes and their reality, right? Now, who are some names? Who are some other characters that fit these things? This a freaking bro, like a freaking nobody, bro. Like a freaking and all the NPCs that you see in video games and stories, right? Freaking side characters. Not even side characters, right? Scratch that. Negative and unified. I like this one. Doom, gloom, nihilism. Also, another one I want to say was evil, bro. They're happy with being evil. They know that nothing matters, right? But then they're just negative about it, right? Let's create chaos. Best example is my guy Joker, right? Joker wants to create chaos because he knows there is no separation between me and you, Batman. You just see justice, I just see chaos. That's it. That's the only difference. Positive and separated is like tier 2 B tier characters, right? This is probably going to offend some people, right? B tier, like Sasuke, who is under Naruto, Vegeta, who's under Goku, Luigi, not Mario, right? This the support character, because at some level they think they're alone, they think they're separated, even though they're positive and they're driven. And then we have the main character, which is you, bro. You're the main character of your story. You got to start acting like it, right? So now we go to that final point. Who are you right now? Are you a victim or are you a hero? And bro, if you're a villain, bro, I don't even know what to say. Like, damn, I hope you don't freaking I hope you don't freaking blow up the world. But it's more respectable than being a victim, right? And this transition from going from victim to hero looks like this. You want to change your self-talk. I had to do a lot of work in understanding the kind of words I use to describe myself and the universe, because I am the universe, you are the universe, right? This is going to determine your aura. Every word has a frequency, right? Every word has literally a frequency. The way you speak to water, it freezes in a different way. I know there's like some experiment. You can look that up, right? So our body is 70% water, and it's always listening to the frequency and the sound of our mind and self-talk. Might as well make it positive, right? So this is the positive side. This is the negative side. And this is the action steps to change your identity, right? So life becomes easier, right? The second thing you want to do is release tension. Okay, victims they're always holding tension, bro, tightness in their body, and you want to do that through yoga, exercise. Crying, because crying releases a lot of tension. Stretch. Okay? And the third thing you want to do is dream of being a hero. Because a hero lives a beautiful life. Right? You want to imagine a beautiful life, whatever that means for you. Do you want to be a business owner? Do you want to be an artist? Do you want to be an athlete? Do you want to be a painter, a singer? What is that life that you want? How much money do you want to be making? How many smiles do you want to put on other people's faces? Dream of it, bro. Feel it in your heart, right? Just like when you were a kid, you wanted to drive a car and you just imagine like playing race car in your mind and you felt the wind, you felt the speed, just like that. You want to feel that 10 out of 10 life in all aspects. And you gotta ask yourself, what character would live that beautiful life? What version of you is going to live that life? And why do you deserve to live a beautiful life? Is because you are the universe. You already have everything, right? You don't need the victim mindset. You don't need the negativity and the idea of separation. The more you practice positivity and realize that you are everything, it's just a matter of choice of choosing a unified life by serving others, serving yourself with love and gratitude. Oh yeah, gratitude is another one, right? You got to practice being grateful for yourself at all times. Be grateful for the pains you have. Be grateful for the challenges you have, because that shifts your mindset from complaining about difficulties to being grateful for challenges, right? It's not difficult. You're just in a challenge. Face the challenge, because heroes face challenges with a smile and therefore put smiles on other people's faces. And so I just want to end the video by saying, always remember, bro, you are the infinite. You have the ability to be absolutely connected to anything and everything you want. My life is freaking amazing. I'm not there yet. I'm not saying it's completely 10 out of 10. We're in this journey together. Always remember, you are unlimited. You are connected. You can be positive, because when you radiate that aura, everything else comes to you as it is coming to me in real time. Always remember.